Kali Pepe is a prominent river in Surakarta or Solo, a city in the Central Java province in Indonesia. It is one of the city's most important rivers, following the famous Bengawan Solo River. The Kali Pepe River runs through the heart of the city, crossing more than 16 different neighborhoods. For many years, it has been a key witness to the rapidly growing culture and trade activities of Solo. The river had played an important role in supporting the economic growth of the city, as it was one of the main waterways to deliver goods to markets and economic centers. It connects two of the city's biggest markets, Pasar Legi and Pasar Gede, which are the biggest economic centers in the city. The city's growing economy attracted many people to migrate to the city. As Solo evolved, so did the areas surrounding the Kali Pepe River. Between the 1990s and 2000s, some segments along the riverbanks started to become slums and squatter settlements, and over time, the river saw significant environmental degradation as it also became a waste disposal site for the settlements. Due to its significance to the city, the Solo government and the national government have implemented various programs to improve the environment surrounding the Pepe riverbanks, from a relocation program, in situ upgradation of the neighborhoods on the riverbanks, normalization of the river, as well as the latest effort to transform the area into a river-based tourism site. As seen in many informal settlements, the residents living along the Kali Pepe River possess a strong sense of community spirit and an innate self-organizing capacity. They regularly come together and collectively organize community events and national holidays, such as Indonesia's Independence Day celebrations. And they help each other for important ceremonies like weddings and funerals. As many of the low-income communities living along the river lack a designated space for community gatherings, they also often hold the events at their neighbors' homes. Aside from neighbors' homes, community activities are also concentrated at points where economic or social activities spill onto the corridor. Some examples include warungs or ad hoc gathering areas created by the residents on the open streets near the river, or by the gazebos constructed by the government as a part of upgradation schemes. These intimate spaces can be seen spilling out from homes and created simply by placing benches, furniture, and plantings alongside the riverbanks. Let's take a closer look at 5 neighborhoods along the Kali Pepe River, which will be our focus for this video. Mangkubumen is arguably one of the elite areas in Solo. This can be seen by the large houses in the area, its close location to the city center, and how it is equipped with adequate basic facilities and wide roads. The neighborhood also has one of the biggest malls in Solo City. In 2019, it was declared as the best sub-district in Indonesia in terms of sub-district development innovation by the Indonesian Ministry of Home Affairs. Still, this development was not equally distributed. In another part of the neighborhood, there are low-income community settlements that use informal public toilets in the river due to a lack of proper sanitation facilities. Because of the high density in the area, some families don't have space at home for private toilets. In 2017, the area saw a riverbank improvement program, which demolished all the informal public toilets along the river. Later, in 2018, the Solo City government, through the Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing, launched a social housing program for low-income communities in the city, including in Mangkubumen. The social housing in the area provides 77 units per room at an affordable monthly rental price, offering an alternative housing option for low-income communities in Solo. The Sudiro Prajan neighborhood is known as the Chinatown district in the city. Migrants, especially those with Chinese ethnicity, have resided in the area since the 19th century to live close to Pasar Gede, Solo's landmark traditional market. Because of this, Sudiro Prajan has become a melting pot of the different ethnicities and cultures living in Solo, a symbol of harmony in the neighborhood at the Gerbek Sudiro Carnival, an annual event to celebrate Lunar New Year. Sudiro Prajan is also the commercial and residential heart of the city. Pasar Gede is a historic palace market that is an important trading area offering residents goods such as fruit and vegetables and employment opportunities. Between 1940 and 1980, many people occupied the Pepe River banks in Sudiro Prajan, turning the area into a dense informal settlement. This settlement was also home to many formal and informal merchants as well as other informal workers. The area saw a river upgrading program by building a river embankment in 1985. Later in 2005, Joko Widodo, the mayor of Solo at the time, implemented riverbank setbacks, relocation, and land certification initiatives as part of the Kali Pepe upgrading program. Located at the center of Solo, one of the characteristics of the Stabilan neighborhood is its access to train and bus stations. The neighborhood is known for the Monument 45 Banjarsari Park landmark, which was built to commemorate Solo's historical battle for independence against the Netherlands in 1949. Stabilan is synonymous with a historic, creative, and vibrant atmosphere. Its name literally means cannon troop, alluding to its history as a village for the cannon guard troops of the Mangkunegaran Palace Artillery Corps. Besides its historical richness, Stabilan is the site for Solo's largest and most recently revitalized traditional market, Pasar Legi. Still, the Stabilan neighborhood is also home to dense informal settlements on the southern edge that borders the Kali Pepe River. Residents of these informal settlements have been reluctant to relocate permanently or temporarily as they prefer to maintain close distance to their current workplaces and schools. In 2014, the area saw an in-situ upgrading program alongside the riverbank in Stabilan, which included a public housing and land consolidation scheme for informal settlers in the neighborhood. This marks a positive step in the provision of legal and proper homes in the city. Sewu is located at the eastern edge of Solo, bordering the Pepe and Bengawan Solo rivers. Each year, visitors come to the neighborhood for the Apung Sewu Cultural Festival. The neighborhood shows a balance between housing, businesses, and public facilities. Sewu is also where Tanggul Market is located. Tanggul Market is a pilot project of accessible traditional markets equipped with a travelator. As the area is nestled in the intersection between Kali Pepe River and Bengawan Solo River, floods have become an annual issue in Sewu. Unfortunately, this area is also where low-income settlements are concentrated. Currently, the city attempts to address the annual flooding by relocating families from the riverbanks to Mojosongo. This initiative has been mostly successful because the entire community was involved in the decision-making process of the relocation site within the city of Solo. Thus, the residents were able to live in the new location together with their old neighbors. However, some other families with land titles are still in the process of negotiation and live on the riverbank. Recently, a large embankment was built alongside the Kali Pepe riverbank that borders the Sewu neighborhood as flood control barriers. Many residents who live behind the embankment use the area above the embankment as a public space and the main access to the neighborhood. The name Keprabon means the king's land in Javanese. The neighborhood is characterized by old settlements and the Mangkunegaran Palace. Keprabon was known as a cultural district with a famous antique market and strong ties to the Mangkunegara Kraton. Its cultural heritage has drawn dozens of tourists into the area and has supported various employment opportunities. The neighborhood is also one of the strategic commercial areas in the city. Its location near Pasar Gede and Pasar Legi, two big economy centers in the city, has attracted many informal traders and workers. Most of them live alongside the Kali Pepe river banks in Keprabon. Most of the settlements located on the banks of the Kali Pepe in Caprabon occupy state-owned land. The neighborhood saw an in-situ upgrading program in 2015, which included the construction of social housing for low-income communities who previously lived on the banks of the Kali Pepe River. Today, the social housing is home for 70 families. The social housing has a ground floor, an area for work or trade, and the upper floor as a place to live. This feature was designed to suit the needs of its residents, most of whom are informal traders. The initiative was a step within the city government's effort to normalize the Pepe riverbank. Since then, the riverbanks in the Caprabon area have become public and green spaces for the residents and the city. The development of inclusive public spaces alongside the Kali Pepe riverbank holds immense potential in reviving underutilized interstitial spaces and revitalizing the neighborhoods along the river. Such a space will encourage greater social interactions and economic opportunities for residents in the neighborhood and the Solo city as a whole.